Welcome everyone to a Spec Ops replay. This is Monument Valley PV Hardcore Chapter 1 Spec Ops. Let you all take a look at everything here. Yeah, that's a whole lot of hookums. Wasn't very thrilled about that. Let's just say the Hokum's one of those vehicles or those helicopters I wasn't happy on seeing when I was in the service.
I hope I made it on time.
I'm near the base. Do you copy?
So here we are. It is a platoon of myself in the M2A3 Bradley, the Red Queen in the Dragon 125, Grim Mike with the T90A, and Rockin' Rex with the T90A. And it's time to show them how America does things. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about the M2 Bradley. The M2 Bradley is an American-designed IFV. It is manufactured by BAE Land and Armaments, which was formerly United Defense. In the mid-1960s, the U.S. Army required an infantry fighting vehicle. The goal was to have an IFV that would outperform the Soviet BMP-1.
That should be all. Let's move on.
And was to replace the M113 currently in service at the time. No adequate vehicles would be produced until 1977. In that year, two vehicles would be produced. These vehicles would be the XM2 Bradley IFV and the XM3 Bradley Cavalry vehicle. However, in 1978, both vehicles were deemed too slow, too high, having very poor engine performance and insufficient armor. Most but not all of these problems were corrected, and the first production models were delivered to the U.S. Army in 1981. Originally, the Army required 6,800 Bradleys overall. However, since then, this number has been reduced. The Bradley is constructed of welded aluminum armor with space laminated over top for increased protection. The driver sits in the front left side with the engine to his right. A turret is mounted over the middle of the vehicle. The gunner and commander sits in the turret. The main armament is a 2 M42 Bushmaster 25mm autocannon. That's not 40 MICOM, that's 25. Moving on. With a coaxial 7.62 M240 machine gun. There is also two tow missile launcher systems mounted on the left side of the turret. Mostly meant for dealing with heavier tanks, like T-72s.
Jesus, there's a lot of them.
The Bradley has a swimming ability. This is assisted by a flotation screen that is fixed to the front of the upper glacis plate of the vehicle. The rear of the Bradley can carry up to 6 infantrymen. Each infantryman has a firing port. It is powered by a Cummins VTA 903T 8-cylinder diesel engine. The engine produces 600 horsepower. Giving a power-to-weight ratio of 21.7 horsepower per ton. The total weight of the Bradley is around 27.6 tons. Currently in service with the U.S. Army is the M2A3. What you see here, minus the 40mm cannon for a 25mm cannon. Moving on. Don't let me focus on the cannon because I'll do it. The M2A3 is totally a digital upgrade. The improvements is electronics, including improved targeting acquisition and fire control, as well as improved navigation. There is also improvements to the armor protection. As you can see here, explosive reactive armors, actually the upgrade in the armor protection, and a fire suppression system. Finally, the NBC protection system has been upgraded as well. So far, the M2 has only seen service with the U.S. Army, as well as Lebanon and Saudi Arabia. The M2 Bradley has been deployed in action in the Persian Gulf War, the Waco Siege. Yeah, that's the Waco Siege of, you know, Texas. Yada, yada, yada. 1993, look it up. The Iraq War and the Yemen Civil War.
It's finished.
So there you go. There's the history of the Bradley, or a generalized history of the Bradley for you. The vehicle, even though it has gotten
We're surrounded.
numerous upgrades, it still is a heavily criticized vehicle by the people who serve on it. It is generally criticized negatively as having a lack of armor protection and being slow. I'm not quite sure what they're looking for here. It's got a better power to weight ratio than the M1 Abrams. It is a little slower than the Abrams top speed wise. And well, the armor protection is, well, it's an IFV. It's aluminum beer can that carries people into combat. I'm not sure the gruff. I didn't serve on the Bradley. I served alongside Bradleys. Generally, they seem to have performed well in the engine mechanically. They could deal with heavy targets like tanks because of the TOW missiles. They could also deal with lighter armored vehicles like the BMP because of the autocannon, the 25 millimeter. Let me say that again. 25 millimeter Bushmaster autocannon. And I do want to point out that there actually has been, I know of one Bradley off the top of my head credited for killing a T-55 with its 25 millimeter Bushmaster cannon. I'm not going to let it down. Anyway, so as you can see here, we're starting to close in on the final objective, which is the airfield. Now I am running very low on ammo, and that is one downfall of this vehicle. It does have a decent speed. I feel its acceleration is a little sluggish for a vehicle of its type. Its camouflage rating is really not the best, but it's not bad considering how high this vehicle sits. However, it's worth, you know, give it a medal for its firepower, its agility, and its spotting range. It is a good spotting vehicle. However, this is a bad map to spot on. So generally, right now, I'm playing kind of aggressive.
That's me. Stay down.
And just trying to get shots where I can, which right now I'm getting to the point where I really need to rely on the TOW missiles. The TOW missiles are very good. And so far, out of all the IFVs I've played, understand I've only played about half of them. This has been my favorite vehicle, hands down. And in all honesty, you know, like they just added the Griffin. I don't see how the Griffin could replace this vehicle to me in my book. It's just really good, especially because of the two TOW missiles and the supposed 40 millimeter Bushmaster cannon. Okay, 25 millimeter Bushmaster cannon. You hearing me yet, Micom? 25 millimeter Bushmaster cannon. Either that or model it with a different cannon already. Anyway, so there we go. We got a hit on the Warrior, got the kill. Now we're trying to get a sneaky breaky kill. There we go. There's a sneaky hit on the Expeditionary tank. Get a little sneaky breaky. Here we go. We got Stingray loading the tow. And I just fired into a dead tank. So I take a moment here. I know it's not showing on the screen, but I take a moment and reload that single tow missile. Because right now I'm really to the point I need to rely on the tow missile. And I am driving into the cap. The rate of fire is not exactly fast on it, but it does have very good penetration. It will penetrate even some areas of MBTs from the front. And then obviously, yeah, the tow missile. And the tow missiles are really good on this vehicle when I know how to use them right, because sometimes I just go full R-tard. Not use them very well. So right now I'm capping it here with Rawkin Rex. And just in time as two Weasel Hots come rolling around the corner.
Thanks, Ryan. That was really close.
Is that all? Where's the rest of them?
Took them. They took everyone. I'm sorry, Ryan. We couldn't do anything.
All right, so that is the end of Chapter 1 for Spec Ops. Let's pull up the results here. I did 18,453 damage, spotted 7 enemy vehicles, and destroyed 16. This is actually the first time I've ever gotten a destroyer medal in the Bradley. So I got myself a destroyer, as I just said, and a blue star. And I would be top damage overall. Pretty well big dog for damage, dealing almost 7,000 more damage than the person in second place, which would actually be Red Queen with 11,778. However, I was nowhere near top spotting, wasn't trying to be top spotting. I was playing aggressively and trying to spit missiles and anger and cuss words and everything else I could at its way, shooting cheeseburgers and everything else. God bless America. God bless Iron Man. Thank you very much for watching this M2A3 Bradley replay.